All right, well, we broke the news just a couple of weeks ago that Steve McClaren is going to take over my Reggae Boys. I was very excited about this news. He since then has had his official first press conference as Reggae Boys head coach just last Thursday in Kingston, Jamaica, where he had to answer a number of questions. And you can bet the number one question that he was asked was, how is he going to resolve the Leon Bailey issue?
You know, a big part of this is about recruitment. And I like that recruitment. I like connecting with players. I like talking with players. And the most important thing with Leon is to talk to him, to connect, to communicate. And it's a clean sheet. With me coming in, I know a little bit about the history. I know a little bit about what's going on. I understand top players. I understand them. And it's a conversation that we will definitely have. The boy's an asset. He's a damn good player. I know that. I suffered knowing that. And you need good players, but you need them to commit, and that's the important thing. So conversations with all these players is the most important thing on the agenda for me when I obviously get the next few days out the way. I go back and I speak to all the players. Who is committed for this dream, for this vision? Who wants to play in a World Cup? Who wants to play in a World Cup? That's the question.
Steve McClaren there, Jamaica's new head coach. Well, let me go to Shaka first on this one, because Herc and I spoke about this with Sebi in LA. We had a nice little chat of, Shaka, how I was excited to have Steve McClaren even firstly be associated with the Reggae Boys head coach job, and the fact that they even interviewed Steve Bruce as well, because these are iconic names, especially as managers for football. But your reaction as my fellow West Indian, Shaka, when you heard the news?
Well, I think you're excited by the names of McClaren and Bruce through your Manchester United connections. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit on the fence on this. I'm a little bit lukewarm. Steve McClaren had an outstanding spell with Middlesbrough. He had an outstanding spell with 20. But other than that, or since that, not a lot to really boast of. Even his second spell at 20 was, again, a little bit lukewarm. So I'm waiting to see how this kind of starts, how this takes shape, before I really cast many aspersions. And while I get the point, and Leon Bailey and his standoff, certainly you understand why that's kind of front and center, and Steve McClaren wants to address that head on. But as far as I remember, Leon Bailey's disagreements were with the JFF, not with the coach. I'm not sure how appointing Steve McClaren addresses those. And while I agree that this is about players wanting to play in the World Cup, that is an obvious carrot. With or without Steve McClaren, I think Jamaica qualify for the World Cup and should qualify quite easily, especially given that the top three in CONCACAF are hosting, and while Jamaica are ranked sixth in CONCACAF as we sit right now, I would certainly back a full-strength Jamaica over both Panama and Costa Rica, the other two teams who are ahead of them. So qualifying shouldn't be an issue. I don't think that's where Steve McClaren will be judged. It all comes down to how well Jamaica fare come 2026. Yes, I already have them in the World Cup, as I mentioned. But I'm a little bit on the fence as far as Steve McClaren and the meaningful impact that he will have as Reggae Boys coach.
Well, his first game will be when Jamaica face Cuba on the 6th of September. But Herc, let's take it back to the Leon Bailey chat then, shall we? Because it was something that we spoke about quite a bit on Football Americas and, of course, on our Copa America show this summer, because his presence was felt for Jamaica, that's for sure. And I remember Shaka was saying that once you have a situation like that and those kind of headlines that surround a certain player, it can affect the team and the main goal of the team. But now, as Steve McClaren has said, he's someone that he has to bring back 100%. It's something that I said as well. It represents a fresh start. Do you see it like that?
Yeah, I do. I have two things on this. I'll start the first, and it's Leon Bailey. Shaq knows this very well. Not all players are treated equal. That's not the way football works. You have your stars, and you have the rest of the players. Leon Bailey's a star in Jamaica, so when he's talking about the boys and asset, he's talking about how good he is and how much they need him. So there's going to be some sort of treatment there that smooths over any of the misfortunes that happened in the past to convince Leon Bailey of coming back. Now, I would make the argument, as good as Leon Bailey has been for Villa, my money, the best player in CONCACAF at the club level, ahead of an Alphonso Davies, ahead of a Christian Pulisic who had a ridiculous season at Milan, ridiculous double assist in European football for Villa. He's been a shadow of that with Jamaica. And not just this season. Historically, he's not done great things with Jamaica. So that is one. Two, I would argue it's not so much just Leon Bailey where McClaren could do his wonders, but it's the recruitment of players, because we've gone through his resume and he's got a very good understanding of the English pyramid and the English footballer that's there with Jamaican roots and the ability to address those players and convince them to come on over. So why Shaq is right that in terms of talent pool, in terms of players, they should be on par, if not better than Costa Rica and Panama. But that's not been the case. Even when said players have been there, it's been Panama, it's been Costa Rica with better showings. Whether it's World Cup qualifying, whether it's Gold Cup, or whether it's just this recent Copa America, these countries always do better than Jamaica. So Jamaica may have the players with paper, on paper, the player pool, but they've not been able to put it together here. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but I think his greatest asset that he will bring to this Jamaican club will be the recruitment level of it.